gosh, how many bears is that?
Hey, we're recording right now. I think Eric hit the button. If not, we'll find out in like 45 minutes. This is NoLaughTrack podcast. My name is Justin Severson. I am the host. Thank you, Circle of Heat, for letting us play one of your songs there at the beginning. If you want to know more about Circle of Heat, they're a Minneapolis band. Look them up. They're on Facebook. I think they have a Twitter account. They play around town. Go check them out. I have.
They're amazing. I love them.
They're amazing. And Andy Erikson is here, and she loves them too.
They're so good.
They're so good.
You can dance to every song, and you can jump to every song, and you can even bring your own instruments and play with them.
Have you done that?
Well, I brought maracas, and actually we got in trouble because we weren't keeping beat. So you can't actually do that, but you could if you wanted to.
My guest is here. It's Andy Erikson. She has spoken.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about starting a band. I think I'm going to switch careers, so.
You know, that'd be a good time for you. That'd be, you know, things that actually, well, I'm glad you said that. This is an intervention.
Oh, no.
I have seen how your career has been kind of plateauing.
It just made a giant plateau.
I don't know. You should consider, always have a fallback. And if it's a band with maracas,
then I'm good. I'll just do maracas for the whole band.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I don't know. But you know what? I like plateaus. I think they're pretty. Like, they're so cool. If World didn't have plateaus, it would just be like round and dumb.
Or one giant hill that never ends.
One giant hill that never ends. You need to plateau. It can't just keep going.
You're right.
That's true. Thank you.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it can't go on forever and ever and ever.
So I want to set the scene here. We're tricking everyone because you're listening to this it's your present and it is in our future.
Yeah.
Because we'll be honest here, and this is New Year's Eve week. You're here in town doing a show with Kermit, a PO.
Yep.
Who else is working?
Robert
Burrill. Very funny man. He's been I must be liking a lot of his comments on Facebook, or he's tweeting or commenting or whatever a lot more, because I see his stuff all the time now, and it's very funny.
That happens where, like, if you like someone's stuff and then like it again, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. My husband actually, he gets. Do you know who Jeff Tate is? Oh, not Jeff Tate. I get him confused with Dave Waite. Do you know who Dave Waite is? He's a comedian.
Okay, no.
Super funny, but I
do know Jeff Tate. But
you do know Jeff Tate.
We should have stuck with that.
Well, pretend. Okay, Jeff Tate. He gets an update, literally a notification anytime he posts something, likes something, does anything. And he's like, oh, I guess Jeff Tate or Dave Waite are doing something. And he can't turn it off. He can't figure it out.
Weird.
Anyways.
Weird. Very weird. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Mm-hmm. Facebook's a mystery. But someday we're all going to get rich because Mark Zuckerberg's going to give us $1 million or something.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that too. Andy, I have been looking forward to talking to you for a long time now.
Good.
Since the last, it's been a while since you've been on this podcast.
Yeah.
And a lot has happened.
Yeah, last time I was at Acme was in May of last year. I don't even think I was here. Or I don't think I did the podcast.
No, I don't think so.
I did the podcast last May, and that was right around the time, like right before I got married, and I was filming the show thing.
Mm-hmm. So much has happened. Yeah. Where do we start? So let's start there. You got married.
Yes, I got married on May 24th, which I accidentally put the wrong date on all our thank yous. I put May 25th.
Was it originally scheduled at 25th?
No, I just thought that number sounded better, like 5/25/2015. So I was like, fives.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, that's the day we got married. And I was like, technically, the party went into over midnight, so it was kind of partly the 25th. But no, I messed up there. But whatever. People don't really care what day you got married. Maybe we do, but no one else really does. But
whatever. You will when the anniversary comes around.
I know. I will.
If that present shows up, or that card shows up on the 25th.
You know what? He'll get an extra day. That's actually good for all of us.
Okay, yeah.
My husband hasn't bought me a Christmas present yet.
What?
Yeah, he was like, I'll do it eventually. He was like, do you really want something? I'm like, yes, I do. I want a present. But he was busy.
Did you get him anything?
Yeah, I got him like 3 things. Well, I knew we were going to be coming to Minnesota for holidays, so I planned ahead and ordered stuff to be there before we left. But he forgot to do that. I was like, that's okay. Get it when you come back.
Brilliant. Mm-hmm. So you had it delivered to your...
I had stuff delivered to my parents' house, and then I had stuff delivered to my house back in L.A.
Very smart.
But yeah, we got married May 24th here, and we actually got married at Acme in the showroom that we're standing in right now.
Yes.
And it was awesome.
And it was Tim
Harmson and Mikkel Budge, a.k.a. Mary Mac. They were the officiants of the wedding, and it was so awesome. It was so perfect. It was so weird being in Acme and just looking out and just being like, this is my entire family that came to my show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was really
free
really
tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone got a free ticket.
Free tickets. Well, they had to bring a gift. But everyone came and everyone got a stuffed animal.
Aww.
We put them on all the chairs, the stuffed animal wedding, and then the theme was unicorns and turtles. So we had unicorns and turtles everywhere.
Perfect.
And then we read quotes from Harry Potter during the ceremony too.
Really? I didn't hear this part.
Yeah, I know. My mom was crying for very different reasons. So I'm just kidding. That's the joke I tell. Because she wanted us to talk about God during our service, but we were like, we're going to just talk about Harry Potter. So we read from Harry Potter instead of the Bible. It was really fun. We also had a quote about sandwiches taking over the planet. That was another reading.
Oh.
I know. You're like, was this a wedding?
Well, Derek, of course, the one of the managers here married another manager here, Lauren.
Yes.
And they had a sort of.
know. I missed it. That sounded so awesome.
I showed up late.
You did?
Yes, I only got there for the reception, but people that were there got to see a pretty wacky one with Mike Lester.
Yep.
Instead of Mary and Tim.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I love it.
I got married in October.
Oh my gosh.
There were no comedians involved.
Oh.
No. We had my wife's uncle.
Oh,
he did
cool.
he was the officiant.
Well, congratulations.
But I did have Tim Slagle offer many times.
That's so funny.
And I was like, dude, I want you to so bad, but I can't bail on the family thing.
Family, yeah.
I can't do it.
I know.
Did you do, we have so much Last Comic Standing to talk about, all that tour and everything, but did you go on a honeymoon? Because mine's coming up, and that's why we're recording this early.
Oh, gotcha.
Is because I'm going to be in Jamaica.
Oh, nice.
In the middle of January.
That's great.
Yeah. So apologies to Cy, our buddy Cy Amundsen, who you've been on the
mine will be airing his week.
Cy week.
Okay. Oh,
yes.
hey everyone, this is Cy Amundsen. Ooh, I love my hair and everything about my body.
Cy, you are the handsomest comedian I've ever seen.
I know.
Would you care to comment?
He's so handsome. I kind of wish he would marry like a relative so he could be part of my family. And I do kind of wish that. I think he has a girlfriend though. But I just really like Cy. So Cy, I'm sorry I made you sound like I did before. Hi everyone, I'm Cy. I don't know why. That just keeps coming out because imitation is the best form of flattery.
Yes.
So.
One of the, I'm not just saying this because you're here, but one of my favorite episodes I've ever done here. I'm definitely the most high energy was when you were here with Cy.
Oh yeah.
If you remember that.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
I have to listen to that again.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
It was nuts. It's out there. Mm-hmm. Please look it up.
I will. So you're going to Jamaica.
I'm going to Jamaica. So when this drops, I will be in the sun.
Okay, well.
And you will probably not be in Minnesota anymore.
Oh my gosh. I might be back. I'm coming back a lot. Because I'm coming back here to do a college. And then I'm coming back again to do another thing.
You're working, I know, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
In Minnesota.
At Courtyards of Andover, yeah.
In what?
Courtyards of Andover.
Yes, and the reason I know that is because I subscribe to Groupon.
Is there a Groupon for me?
Yes!
That's so cool.
Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is my picture on it?
Yes!
Ah!
Yeah, with the whole,
so
I actually
cool.
have a copy of it here.
My God.
There's a whole write-up and everything. So, I think the new thing is not you've made it once you've got like some TV cred. Mm-hmm. I think it's when you show up on Groupon.
On Groupon.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And you, Andy Erikson, have now shown up on Groupon.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Let's talk about Last Comic Standing.
Yeah.
Because that all happened since the last time we've talked.
Yeah.
Now, where do I want to start? Obviously, now I know a lot of people know that that's like the beginning of that stuff is recorded way in, several months in advance, correct? Yep. So how was it for you keeping a secret?
Well, luckily there were a ton of comedians who were doing it and who were a part of it. And you don't really need to keep it a secret from the people who were like also auditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you got auditions, you kind of kept it a secret and you had to keep it a secret how far you moved on. You couldn't really talk about it. But luckily in the community, so many people already know that. And they were also like, I had friends who were at the tapings with me. So there were people you could talk to. But it was crazy because it was a long process because I started auditioning back in September of 2014. And it didn't end up filming until May of 2015. So that was like several months later.
That's
it was
a long
huge
time.
process.
Yeah.
And then once we started like filming it went really quick. It was only 4 weeks, I think, total filming, maybe even only 3. I did 4 rounds and filmed it all. But my parents, my whole family, well, 5 of them, they decided to fly out to come to the taping. So they were there, so they knew how it went. So that like totally takes the load off. Like, okay, my family knows.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
they were here.
Yeah.
And I can't be like, I don't know how they found out. It's like they flew in, they were sitting there, they watched it go. And that was
It'd be weirder if they didn't know.
Yeah, it really would. And they flew in and came to like the head-to-head round. And I was like, if I hadn't moved on, then there was one more show I wouldn't be doing. So I was like, hopefully I move on. And luckily I did. So they got to see me twice.
Okay.
It's time to do the finals. But what they do though is for the finals is they film multiple endings. So no one really knows who wins, kind of a thing. So I didn't have to keep much a secret, but it really was hard.
They filmed multiple endings?
Yeah, they filmed multiple endings.
What?
Maybe that's supposed to be a secret, but I feel like people kind of know that. I don't know. They do it at like American Idol and stuff too, I think.
Really?
They don't want the audience to get the word out. Because if the audience sees someone win, they're going to tweet about it and talk about it.
Sure.
And the audience is just regular people.
Yeah. So what, can you say, what was another thing that was filmed then?
They just filmed Clayton English winning, and then they filmed me winning.
They really did?
Yes, they did. They dropped confetti on me, did the whole thing. They filmed it, and I was like, I thought I won. I was like, oh my God, I won. It was really cool. But I didn't know it was either me or Clayton.
Which one happened first?
Clayton's was first. And then they did his, and then they did mine. And it was just like...
So they got the guy sweeping the confetti out of the way?
They took a long time and like cleaned it all up and reset, and then just kind of did like the order, like who got 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. And then I was surprised even because I had originally been like in the 3rd position. So I was like, okay, I obviously didn't... I'm not going to be in the part of this. It's going to be Dominique. But then they like flipped it around, and then we're like... Then they had me up against Clayton, and then they were like, Clayton's 2nd. And I was like, oh my God. And then people came up from the audience and were like hugging me, and I was like, oh my God, I think I won. So like maybe if Steve Harvey was hosting.
Yeah, no kidding. Of course I'm thinking of the same thing right now.
I know. But we knew going into it that they were going to do multiple
okay.
endings. They weren't just like keeping us in the dark. Yeah.
Weird.
They do that a lot in TV. Because they don't want people to.
Oh, it completely makes sense. I guess
know.
I never had heard that.
Yeah. It was nuts, so. It was kind of fun, though, being like, oh, maybe I won. But
I hope they lose the tape.
Yeah, I know.
The other one. Well, we got to change history. She did win.
I know. And yeah, but it was nuts. And it was crazy, like, not telling people, too, because I was so afraid of losing anything I had achieved that I was like, what if something comes out and then I end up like not getting to go on the tour, or like I was just so nervous, which I think they make you feel nervous, which I don't know how nervous you really need to be, but like I think everyone's like, okay, we're not. Actually, some people were totally telling people, but anyways, I was keeping a secret, and I even went and did an open mic at the Comedy Store in LA, and I did the open mic, and this was after it had all filmed, and I went on stage, and then I was just doing my silly thing, and afterwards the guy was like, was this your first time? And I was like, no. I wanted to tell him I was going to be on Last Comic Standing.
Yeah.
I was like, no. And I just said, I'm going to make it. And that was all I really got out. And I want to go back in there and see the people that are going to be like, remember me?
Yeah.
Last year, we thought it was my first time.
Wow.
Like, I've been doing this for 7 years at the time, so.
Now, one of the, and as I was teasing you a little bit before we started recording, that it's amazing how much I've seen you, how much TV time you got, and then all the write-ups here locally.
Yeah, locally was nuts too. Actually, our show at Mystic Lake, because we went on tour, so we did 79 shows. 78 were part of the tour, but we did another one.
79?
79.
In how many days?
In 94 days. Wow. But that was like, but for the most part, it was 6 to 7 days a week. Like we got a few days off at the end that made it like it was mostly like most of the tour was in 90 days. So we really only got a few days off. It was nuts.
Wow. And
when we went to Mystic Lake, because we were doing like mostly theaters and casinos.
Okay.
So mostly, we were getting, or 500 was kind of the lowest, but up to like 2,000 was like the people. So it was really nuts. Like you're performing for usually around 1,000 people at every single show.
And it was the top 5.
It was the top 5, yeah. But we got to Mystic Lake and they had 2,100 people, which was the most they'd had at any of the shows in any place. I was like, I think they did a really good job promoting it for me. And I did get a ton of airtime. Like I think I even got more than Clayton, who won.
I bet you did.
Yeah, so I was really lucky. And I made friends with all the people. Everyone did. We made friends with all the people filming it because we were hanging out with them for so long. And they came to my house to film. So
yeah,
I think it was just fun hanging out with them. And they wanted to show more of me. And I probably gave them a bunch of extra footage. So I was just doing a bunch of weird stuff. And they were like, all right, we'll do that. I think it worked out in my favor, the fact that I didn't get off stage on time and tried to riff with Anthony Jeselnik, so it was really fun, and it was nuts.
What was he like?
Anthony was so cool.
Was he? Like
he would come in before the shows were recording, and he'd come in and give us like a pep talk, and was just totally himself and his character, and himself as well. But it was just really cool, and it was so fun talking to him, and we didn't really get to see him much. Like we were kind of we weren't able to see or look at the judges until we were on stage. Like we weren't able to interact with them at all. We weren't able to interact with Anthony. It was like super, you're in this room, you guys stay here. So we really didn't get to hang out with him only on stage. That was the only interaction we really got before, except for like little meeting before. So we were all hanging out and becoming best friends, which would have been cool. But, but he was really cool. I know people would say things like, it seemed like so many people had negative things to say about him, but it's like they weren't even showing a portion of all the, a tiny percent of all the funny things he was saying, because he was hilarious. And I think everyone knew he was hilarious, but it just didn't quite make sense because they really needed him to make fun of the judges more, because they were saying all these crazy things, but they think they cut time out, because at the same time, it's like they have to show 100 comedians and then we have a small time. Yeah. So I wish they could have given him more time to interact with
it was
hilarious.
Yeah, I obviously watched every episode because there's so many people I know that are on the show.
Know.
And I think that I've watched pretty much every season. Not every episode like I did this year, but I think he's the best host that they've ever had.
I do too.
Yeah.
Because he was able to, I think, just bring his own flair to it, but was really funny. And the other judges were funny too, but it was definitely, he was able to bring a darker side to it, where I think other judges other hosts might be afraid to be negative, but that's his wheelhouse. So he can kind of do it. So it was really cool. And it was fun interacting with him. I would love to just I'm trying to get him to do my podcast. But I asked him one time if he would do my show, and I said I'd make him a friendship bracelet. And he said, I only buy factory made. I was like, that's great. He's pretty funny. But yeah, so that was crazy. But the entire taping was probably, people thought, it must have been so exciting. And I think comics know, but it was the most stressful time of my life. I was so nervous about messing up, forgetting my jokes. I was insanely nervous. And I have a heart condition. And I was like, my heart's being crazy because I'm freaking out. So I had my blood pressure taken a couple times.
You did.
I took extra heart blood pressure medicine.
Really?
But I hadn't seen my doctor in a few months, and I was just nervous. What if something happened? And I also didn't want to tell him I had a life-threatening heart condition because it's under wraps. I was I don't want to get kicked off the show. So I'm no, I'm cool. It's just a little heart thing. Just aortic valve might burst, but no, it wasn't that close.
Andy.
No, it's not even that serious at all. It was just, but it was in the back of my mind. So part of me is just
of course.
Should I, part of me was as I advanced, I was I'd be fine with not advancing because I don't know if I'm going to die.
Oh no.
I know, it was terrifying, but I would meditate and just hang out with my stuffed animals in the back and just try to stay calm. But then it happened on the second episode that I was on. I forgot my jokes on stage. My biggest fear, and it happened. I was just up there I'm a cat, meow, 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 meow. And that's how I got out of it, and it worked out. But I was so my biggest fear happened. I was able to get out of it. But then I was the next round, I was if I forget my jokes, I can't just be a cat again. I was like, maybe I could be a different animal. I was like, no, I can't just be the comedian who gets uncomfortable and makes animal sounds.
Right.
That can't be me. I was so nervous.
There isn't one yet, so maybe you could
Really?
be.
Oh, gosh. Maybe it is me then. But it was so exciting, and I'm glad I had my family there, and it was really cool. And everyone in the comedy scene was so supportive and excited and cheering me on. So the viewing parties were so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like back in Minnesota, I would watch, people would take pictures of all their viewing parties. I was like, it felt cool. Like, it was so weird because, like, it didn't feel real. And on tour, it was so weird because it felt real, but then it didn't. And you're just kind of like, you're not in your normal life. So you don't really get to experience what it's like to even, I don't know, because we just finished filming, then we went on tour.
Yeah. I didn't know this. When they used to do those, like, just anybody can show up and try to audition, you actually showed up for one of those?
I auditioned,
here?
yeah, in 2007 here.
Yeah, I never knew
waited
that.
outside. I had never even been inside the club. Like, I had never even, my friends told me about this place, but that was all I kind of knew, that's where auditions are being held. And my mom drove me here. I had just had back surgery a few months before. So technically I was still recovering. I had my back brace on.
Oh.
I think I left it with my mom for the audition. I was like, Mom, I'm not going to need this. I'm going in, and we drove the night before down to Minneapolis, and we barely even like really knew this area. So we drove down at maybe 10 p.m. the night before, went and kind of scoped it out, and we're like, okay, just to see if maybe there were people already waiting in line. And there weren't. And I think my mom went in and asked, and it was the Monday night open mic. So she went in, she's like, oh wow, it's packed. And then the next day, my mom dropped me off at 5 a.m. I was 19 or 20. I think I was just turned 20. I was 20 years old. And my mom just drops me off in the city. And I'm just like, okay, now I'm just here. It's really dark and there's a long line, and I just go and I just get in line. And I don't know anybody. And I'd never been to a comedy club. And I was just trying to make friends with people. And I did. I made friends with people in the line.
Yeah, I bet.
But then as the day went on, the line was barely progressing. And then we found out that the comics, which is their prerogative, but they started their own list. And they'd already put their names on the list, so they didn't have to come in till later.
Yeah.
So there were people who hadn't even been waiting in line who ended up being in front of us. And we were like, oh, I was so bummed. But
like Doug Benson probably wasn't waiting in line with you.
No, and they had people who had appointments who were just getting walked
Right.
in. So it was just this whole other world where I'd seen the show on TV and just thought, people waited in line who had never done comedy. They went on stage, did comedy. They became famous. I literally just had no comprehension that comedy. And I talked to other comics who felt the same way. They didn't know it was a job. They didn't know it was a thing. I just thought people were funny, did it, whatever. That was their thing. That's just what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was so dumb. So I didn't get to do it. But luckily I didn't, because if I had, my first time doing stand-up comedy would have gone horrible.
Yeah.
Because it would have been me telling some dumb jokes to 3 people in an empty room. They would have said, you're not ready. What are you doing here? We're going to use this for our B-roll potentially. That's all it would have been. And I never would have done comedy again.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being okay, I should do this for a living. It worked.
That felt good.
That felt good. So
waiting in line for
it worked
nothing.
out that I got there too late. And I don't know, it worked out. Because then a few months later, in August of that year, I came back, did the open mic. Had a fun time. It was packed crowd on Monday. Had a good set.
Yeah.
Had been practicing the one from Last Comic Standing for months and months. I knew what I did tweak it, obviously, once I started getting into it. But anyways, yeah. So
how much material would have you had if you got in that night? 2 minutes? 3? Did you have 3 minutes?
Well, I wouldn't have had material that I knew would work. But the reason I was able to even do well when I first started comedy was because I'd been writing a joke blog. Kind of like George Carlin in his books. He has his stories. So it's his stand-up. Then he has his one-liners. I'd been writing one-liners for 2 years, and I had over 300 posts of just jokes. And so I had a ton of jokes, and I even had feedback from family and friends for which ones they liked and didn't like. So I had something to go off of. And those were the jokes that I even have that first set I ever have on recording. And some of those jokes were are still in my act. So it's luckily, I maybe could have pulled together, but I wouldn't have been able to memorize it. I can't even do it now. I'm doing 8 years. It would have been a complete train wreck.
Right.
But I might have been able to. No, it just wouldn't have worked.
I saw that. I saw some post you did about not being able to do the Walmart joke.
Yeah, on TV,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to say Walmart, and they're like, "Well, just switch it to Kmart." And I'm like, "I can't just switch it to Kmart. People respect Kmart." No, they don't. But
You can find one.
I know. And then they also you needed to get people to sign if you'd mention them in your jokes. And I had a joke with my grandma, and they're like, "You need to get her to sign this." I'm like, "She's not with us anymore." And they're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah."
What?
I know. And other comedians had that same experience where they're like, "Hey, we just want to make sure." I was like, "Don't worry. Like, she's not going to sue you." That would be very difficult.
How common is that so is that every time people perform on television?
TV, yeah. They make you sign something saying that because they don't want to get sued. And, that's what at least I assumed. I've heard of comedians getting in trouble for not, I think Ari Shaffir, is that him? He made fun of that woman with one arm.
Yeah.
I think that was him. But I was like, I'm surprised they didn't ask him to get a signature because you can't, because you couldn't even mention someone. Like, and not even my name. You just say my grandma. Like, you can't even talk about people without them signing.
No kidding.
Yeah. We couldn't say Taco Bell. We couldn't say Walmart. There's a whole bunch of things that you couldn't make fun of. So it was kind of tricky. It was a huge process. You had to submit your jokes. They would send them to legal and all their teams, like 3 different judges or lawyers or people would look through them and then get back to you.
That's got to be weird, like having people go over your stuff.
It was
like
weird.
It's just
Yeah. And luckily I didn't really have many issues, just the like one Walmart joke, I think.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew what not to submit to. Everyone kind of knew, but they were saying like, I was like, "How hard is the job?" They're just like, "It's awful."
Yeah.
Because comedians don't know what clean is. Some of them do, some don't. Some of them think their jokes are clean and they're not. Like,
Yeah.
"You're talking about your butthole, sir. How is this clean?" Well, it's like, no, that's a dirty joke. And then they're like arguing back and forth with them. They're like, "We can't talk about what comes out of your butthole or what goes into your butthole on national television." Maybe I'm sure they could find a way to make it work, but
yeah, those conversations are surreal.
Yeah,
I can't believe we're debating whether it's
no. And they're like, they said it's really hard. I was like, I get that because I work clean, so I kind of know. But if you don't work clean or don't really care about it or think about it, then yeah, you just know it works. If it works, who cares? But TV cares.
Were you prepared to have so many people know you? All of a sudden,
I don't know. It was weird because I do get recognized more and it's really fun, like airports and Walmarts and like at bars and stuff, like randomly. So it's really, I wasn't expecting that. And every time it happens, it's still exciting. Like, and I know it'll like go as the months go down. I feel like people will remember me less. But like when I was at Disney World, I got recognized like 4 times, like by a bunch of different people. It was really cool. And I think it helps wearing my pigtails. I get recognized more often, but sometimes not. I won't even wear my pigtails. And like people were like wanting my picture and it was really, really cool. But then I also get how it could get annoying. Like, I was like, if you're my level of famous, which is like not at all, and I get bugged, a little bit, barely, like hardly ever. Imagine being, I don't know, like Tom Cruise or even anyone who's just a little bit famous. Like, that's insane. Like, you can't even live your life, I imagine.
Did you see Macaulay Culkin spent Christmas in Minnesota?
No way.
With Sean Harmar Superstar?
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah. They went out and had a Hedgie's Pizza.
So people were taking pictures of
in
them
Owatonna. No, Harmar Superstar tweeted it out.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And like there's a picture of Macaulay Culkin like sitting on the couch with the family and
that's really cool.
Family.
I love Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah,
He's
right?
like a cool dude.
Uh-huh.
I know I would talk to him. I know I'd be too afraid.
Did you? So you just brought something up there. Have you met some big celebs in the last year? Then
from work doing the show, I mean, I got to meet Wanda Sykes. I met her and I walked into a bathroom, and she was in there and she was talking to someone else. It was like apparently someone wanted to take a picture with her, and Wanda was like, "Oh no, I don't do pictures in the bathroom," and I'm like, "Oh, I put my phone away." Like, okay, now I know for sure. Like, don't. I was like, good idea. Okay. So
good
then
timing.
I was going to just go like wash my hands. And instead I just went into the bathroom to like hide in one of the stalls. And I just kind of stood there. And then as she was leaving, she comes and knocks on the stall. And I guess like she could just tell I was standing. Like I'm 6'1". I'm sure she just seen my pigtails on top. Like she could probably see most of my head, like except my eyes. I'm thinking I'm hiding.
Right.
And she knocks and goes, "You're really funny." And I'm like, and then I poke my head up and go, thank you.
Oh my God.
And then I poke my head back down, and then she walks out. I know, because she'd seen me at some of, like, she went to the auditions and stuff to see us. And then at the rap party, I got to hang out with Norm Macdonald. Not hang out. I got to see him and talk to him. Norm Macdonald and Anthony Jeselnik and Roseanne Barr. And they were all really cool and really nice. And it was really fun.
Yeah,
so
but you like,
cool.
well, while the show's recording, you literally don't cross paths with them at all, do you?
No,
Yeah.
they sequester us. And they, even when we're changing locations, they're like, okay, where's Norm? Okay. I'm sure they have code words for him. Like, where's Mama Bear or whatever?
The Admiral.
Where's the Admiral? Yeah, good one. And so they, where's Burt Reynolds?
Church Ferguson.
Yeah, Church Ferguson. So it was definitely weird, but it was cool.
How about like like from watching the show, they came up with their own impressions of what they thought of you. How was that?
Oh, the audience or the judges? That was cool. Like what they said, their feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first round, Roseanne made a comment like, "You have such an annoying voice. How can you be a comedian?" And I was like, I took it personally. I was like, I mean, I know it's annoying, but okay. And then obviously it was a joke about how she has an annoying voice. And so she was standing up and everyone was clapping and cheering. But in my head, I was only thinking about myself. And I was like, oh, that means she doesn't like me. She hates me. She thinks I'm annoying. But she was just making a joke. So I was freaking out. And Norman Keenan said I think they said nice things too. But it was also, they were kind of like, we're going to see. Because Keenan was like, you have to keep having good jokes. Like, make sure your jokes they have to be very strong. And that's kind of what Norm said. And I was just kind of like, yeah. Gonna try to have strong jokes. But I was like, cool. But the whole time I'm just like, okay, cool. Thank you. Oh my God. And then that was when I like messed up. Like they do a quick walkthrough of like how it's gonna work. Like you're gonna go stand here, then here. And then I was like one of the only people who was using a mic stand. So they didn't tell me what to do afterwards, but I knew everyone was bringing stuff off. But I'm like, okay, do I bring the mic stand? Am I allowed to touch it? I'm freaking out. And then I'm like, I just kind of set everything on the ground and then just walked out.
Didn't he then say take it with you or something?
Yeah, I think that's what they said, take it with you. And then Anthony was like, leave the dress.
Yeah, that's right.
So funny. But it was scary though, because like I looked up to like the judges, and the first time I ever got to meet them was right as I walked on stage. I'm like, there they are. And I'm like starstruck, and I'm like, I have to tell jokes now.
Yeah.
I just want to look at you guys.
Right.
But yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. And Norm. Have you ever seen Norm do? Have you ever gone to see Norm do?
I haven't seen him live, but I listened to like his podcast and his when he's on the radio. Howard Stern.
It was interesting. Seeing people's opinion of him on that show.
Oh,
they were
he got torn apart.
Yes.
And I kind of felt bad because I just from talking to him and reading his tweets, like he genuinely wanted to do a good job and was, I think, trying to be thoughtful. But I also just think you have to come up with something different for every single person. And I'm sure they're told different things, like try to say things that we could use for different things. And I don't know. I thought he did good. I mean, I think people noticed that something was off, because every single meet and greet we did, someone was like, what's Norm's deal? We're just like, I don't know. He's just a funny dude. He's just a funny dude.
Yeah. I met him once when he was in town doing a show, and I had the radio job, and he came in, and I just kind of gathered in my short interaction, like, he's just kind of an odd guy.
Yeah, just kind of weird dude, like we all are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing at all. It's good. It makes the world interesting, you know? But I do have a picture. I got a picture taken with him, and he has a big stain on the front of his sweatshirt. Yeah.
That's so funny. I love it. I don't think he drives either. I can't remember. I thought I heard that he doesn't drive.
So let's talk about the, the part of the deal of being on the show is then, of course, you go on the tour.
Yeah, that was like...
How quickly did that start after the show ended?
Okay, so we stopped filming in like May. The show aired like end of July and went through September 9th, and we left for the tour September 10th.
Wow.
So we got done, got on a plane, flew up to Spokane, Washington, got on a tour bus, and went down the coast, and then up around into the Midwest and up on the East Coast. So yeah, it started right away.
Wow.
And I was so nervous at first, like the first couple shows, I was really nervous just because there were so many people. And I didn't know if they'd want to hear jokes they'd heard on TV, if they'd want to hear new stuff. I didn't know if they were there to see me, were they there to see someone else, or were they there just because they like comedy. But it ended up just being awesome crowds.
Yeah.
Like the entire, they were comedy fans. Like, if you're paying that much to see comedy, you're a comedy fan. And if you're seeing 5 different people, yeah.
How much time did everyone do?
We each did 20 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we did 3 comics and then an intermission and then 2 more comics. And at first I was like, intermission? Oh man, that's going to ruin it. But it was actually great because you did intermission, you'd go out and you'd talk to people, meet with them.
Oh, you would go out and, oh, awesome.
Yeah, I'd sell your stuff and hand out business cards. And then I've sold unicorns and posters and CDs and just got to meet them, and just seeing how excited they were was so fun. And then we come out at the end of the show too and meet with them too. And then most of us did it the entire tour. Like, we would go and see them. We would go out there and talk to the fans.
You know what's weird is Ian Bagg was here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I came and visited to see him right before the tour started.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
And he must have said 3 words to me about that show.
Oh, really? I don't think he really. I don't know. I think he was just nervous about it. I don't think his agent talked him into doing it. He ended up doing really well and had a great time.
Really well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he doesn't come off as someone who might, I don't know. I was surprised by that too. He didn't really care for the show that much, I don't think.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that, but he did really. But he made him look great.
Yeah, he looked great, and while we were filming, he did great, and it was so fun to hang out with him. And then on the tour, he was having fun, and we were all loved the opportunity. But I don't know, comics are all weird. I think for us, it was I don't know, he's older too. He's been doing comedy 20 years. Not old though, he's 40 or something like that. And maybe it just is weird to be doing the show with people who are in their 20s, but I don't know. But we all had fun, and he did great. We all did. It worked out for us. It didn't make any of us look bad or anything like that.
It's nice that they let you sell your own stuff.
Yeah, we got to sell our own stuff. Yeah.
That's
and
really good.
They told us we were only allowed to bring 2 different things. Maybe a CD, but nothing that comes in sizes. But I brought a bunch of, I brought different colors of unicorns. I brought 2 different posters, 3 different colors of unicorns, and a CD. And I was like, I don't care. I'm selling stuff. I want people to have my stuff.
Yeah.
And remember me and be my best friend.
And then what was the traveling for the tour? What was that like?
Well, we would get to a city, get to our hotel, get ready, then go to a meet and greet. A VIP meet and greet thing where you would do a Q&A, take pictures and stuff, which was really cool. You felt really famous doing that.
Yeah.
Doing pictures and Q&A and stuff. People would ask, what's your favorite animal? And we're like, cats. It was fun. And then we would do the show, and we'd get done around 10. And then after the show, we'd have a few hours back in our hotel room just to watch TV, regroup. And then at 1 a.m., we'd meet at the bus, get in the bus, drive through the night, and then arrive in the morning, either at a parking lot waiting for the hotel to open up, or at the hotel already. Get off the bus, go into the hotel, hang out in the hotel, get ready for the next show.
Wow.
It was boom, boom, boom every single day, different city, different state, being where am I? What's going on? Time to do a show.
So the hotel was for the daytime, not
the
night.
Daytime.
That's
yeah, we would sleep
so
in
weird.
them sometimes, but last tour, I don't think they didn't get hotels at all the stops, and comics were no. I need my own room. And I agree. It was I couldn't do it if I didn't have my own place just to shower.
Right.
Because normally bands get to a venue, they shower at the venue in the theaters.
Sure.
And that's just what they're used to.
Yeah.
But comics are nope. I'm just shower in a public restroom.
Right.
I guess it's not public, but
my wife is a fan of yours from seeing you here, and then even more so from seeing you on TV last summer.
That's so cool.
And so when I told her I was going to talk to you this week, she was all excited. And I was like,
cool.
"Well, give me some questions. What do you want to ask her?" And this, of course, you'll know that this came from a woman.
Yeah.
She wanted to know what it was like going on the road for that long, being a newlywed.
Oh yeah, being a newlywed. It was interesting because I was nervous at first because we just got married, and then I'm like, bye, see you in 3 months, going on the road with a bunch of comics, bunch of cities.
Yeah.
But it ended up Alex came out and saw me within the first week. He came out to a show. He drove up to a show we were doing in California, and then he flew out to Minnesota when I was doing that show. I saw him then, and then I saw him in Duluth. and they flew out to Boston, and then I saw him again in
wow.
California. So he came out a bunch. So we maybe only went 3 weeks without seeing each other, which was hard. But at the same time, like, he had nothing to worry about. So, like, and I wasn't worried about him.
Right.
But it was definitely just hard missing him.
Yeah.
And wishing he could be with for the whole tour and, like, bring him on the bus with me. And he wished he could, too. And I was like, he would have had probably more fun than I was, because he likes to, like, party a little more than I do. Or he would have gone out drinking with Clayton and who went out a lot and had fun. But surprisingly, like, I didn't really drink. Either did Michael Palisak, Dominique, Ian. We didn't really drink. So it was nice because I love peer pressure. Like, so I'm like, sure, I'll do that. That sounds fun. But I won't just do it on my own. So it's like, if everyone was drinking, I'm sure I would have been drinking more often. And they also stock the bus with whatever you want. You're like, oh, I want hard ciders, or I want this kind of beer. So I could have been drinking every gosh dang night, any hour of the day.
Yeah.
Whooping it up. But no, it was hard. But I think we found out that, okay, we can survive, if I'm on the road a lot. And he was able to do his own thing at home. And it was actually kind of nice because he was doing open mics and stuff. And I think for him, it was nice to be able to go without me, because when I'm there, I tend to be the social one and interact more with people. But if he's on his own, he has more opportunities just to make friends and get in on the scene and stuff like that. So he was able to get some work done.
Very cool.
Too. Yeah.
Very cool. So now the tour's done.
Tour's done about a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. That's a relief.
Yeah, it was. I was ready to be done. Like, after 2 months of it, I was like, okay, this was great. Next, But it was awesome. And I mean, we got paid for every show. So every extra show, I was like, sweet, gonna get you a even cooler Christmas present.
Right on.
Yeah.
So what is this year? What's coming up this year that you can talk about? This year,
I'm doing more shows, trying to do more college shows. Booking gigs. I want to be a voice in a cartoon, so I'm trying to do that. Have
you had auditions?
No, not yet, because I've just been on the road.
Yeah.
So it's like I haven't had any opportunities really. So this will kind of come up this year. And prior to that, like, I've been pitching shows and writing shows, and kind of I want to do that and a little more of it too, be on the other side of it. But
okay,
just kind of not trying to plateau.
And you're still the punchline punch out thing is kind of your thing, right?
Been doing that show now for like 5 years, I think. Yeah, so it's going on in LA and Minnesota, and that's been really fun. And I got to do that NBC CISO thing. They have their new network.
Online.
It's online, so it's like NBC's Netflix. And they're just launching it.
Tell me more about that. What did you get to do?
I got to do a live comedy show. We each did like 10 minutes. Everyone from the tour, I think, except it didn't work for Dominique's schedule, so Andy Smith filled in. But we did a show, just all of us live, and it was on the network, and it was really cool. And so, I mean, if CISO takes off, which I think it's a great idea to have a separate, like, online network where you can have shows where you can just watch them when you want and not have to worry about a schedule.
Yeah. Or
waiting for it to come out later or using Hulu. So I got to do a comedy set on that. And I was nervous about that because, like, this is live and I can't ever take anything back. But it was really fun and it was really cool. And I hope people check out CISO. So my set's on there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll admit I haven't checked it out yet, but I have read about it.
Check it out.
I will. I will. That's really cool. Yeah. And things like that are good because that gets me one step closer to, what do they call it? Cutting the cable?
Yes, exactly.
Because I haven't done that yet because I'm under a contract with the satellite.
Too.
So
me too.
And that's my New Year's resolution, by the way, is to save money from entertainment.
Oh, for sure.
Spend it more at Acme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spend it more at my unicorn shop.
I have 2 of your posters up.
Yeah, that's so cool.
In my house.
That's so awesome. Mm-hmm. I designed some new ones too, so I've got 2 new unicorn posters.
I have the fancy.
Mm-hmm. But I had hired a designer to make that fancy unicorn poster. So now it's like epic.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple.
Thank you. I have that one, and then the good for you.
Yeah, that one's fun too. The hamster one. I know it's surprising because of the show. I was surprised, like, I do have, like, silly jokes, but I was surprised how many kids I have as fans. Like little kids coming out.
I bet.
And then, like, it'd be, like, a grandma and her, like, 8-year-old granddaughter would come out, and they would just be like, hi, can I get my picture with you? And they're just shaking. And I'm like, yeah, of course. And they're just so sweet. And they're like, they get a unicorn and their grandma's just like, thank you so much. This is so great. And they're just kind of like, we didn't know the show was going to be this dirty. And I'm like, yeah, it's not TV clean. Cause even I get dirtier too. So there's a bunch of people like, oh, wow, this is different. But it was, we kind of talked about it like it was Last Comic Standing Unleashed. Cause it was definitely dirtier, more fun.
Sure.
It was way more fun.
Sure.
But, it was really cool meeting the little kids. I mean, like, okay, maybe in 10 years, like, hopefully you're still my fan when you actually can like come to a show.
Yeah.
But it was really
when
cool.
you have a job.
When you have a job, get a job and come back. But it was really cool.
Well, by selling unicorns, I mean, that's perfect for.
Oh yeah, and like you'd be surprised how many adults just like unicorns.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't consider myself an adult, but I love unicorns.
Tweener.
I'm a grown up. That's what I say.
There you go.
I'm a grown up.
Yeah, and I'm looking at one of those unicorns right now.
Yeah,
on
I brought one.
Table next to you.
Brought my unicorn friend.
That's are they all pink? Like white and pink?
White. There's 3 different colors: purple, pink, and white.
Purple, pink, and white.
Yep. And we also made friendship bracelets for them, and they came with a download of my CD.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, my CD came out through Rooftop Records, and it came out in September, like right as the finale was airing.
Yeah, great timing.
Yeah, it was really cool, and it was like a dream of mine to have a CD, so it was really cool to get that, to meet that milestone.
Yeah. Now, I was looking at the Andy Smith.
Yes.
She did the comic Andy Smith?
Yeah. She does graphic design for Rooftop.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she did the cover, right?
Yeah, she helped with the cover. Yeah, I laid it out, and she kind of gave the finishing touches.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because I do graphic design too, so we kind of collaborated. Right. And she helped with the back too. She had to airbrush out. There was a unicorn wiener on the back, so I had her airbrush that out.
An accidental or
no? Just
deliberate?
The image we used had a unicorn wiener, and I was like, how about we make the unicorn a woman? I don't need people have to look at that. I drew some in on some CDs though.
Perfect.
It was like, okay, you're right. We'll put it back.
Unleashed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, and she was on the show too.
Yes,
very funny.
She's hilarious. I love her, and they did a cool background story of her with her daughter, and that was so fun.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has been on this podcast before. We had a really fun time.
Yeah. Oh, she's great.
What was it like when they followed you to Minnesota?
So fun.
And recorded you. I mean,
my whole family was so excited. My mom cleaned the house. We went and bought tons of stuffed animals. And they recorded a bunch.
How much preparation did you have for that?
They kind of just asked a little bit about me, and then they came out. So they came out after I was married, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we were still engaged. So it might have been right before I got married. It was busy. I don't remember.
Right.
It happened.
Yeah.
I don't remember when they were here.
You threw a ham.
Yes, that was their idea. They had so many ideas, and I was like, let's do it. They're like, this is cool, because I was like, I'm cool with whatever. We put stuffed animals on leashes and took them for a walk. I jumped in a giant pile of stuffed animals. We were like out on the boat. We were fishing. We had like dinner with my grandpa who was there, and talked to him about comedy, because he's like 96, 95.
Imagine what he thinks of this.
I know.
Whole thing.
I asked him who his favorite comedian was, and he said, I like that Bob Hope. We're like, oh, I meant me. And he was like, oh, I didn't know you were a comedian. And I was like, Grandpa. But he's like, oh, I just thought you told Joe. I didn't know you were. And I was like, it's okay, Grandpa. But it was really funny talking to him.
And Bob Hope is dead.
Sorry, Grandpa. Pick a new one.
At least pick a living one.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm impressed at how you're still keeping up with putting tons of jokes on your websites.
Oh, yeah. I try to do 10 new jokes a week. I have a bunch I just forgot to post. But yeah, I try to do that. I love writing jokes. Yeah. So the tricky part is telling them, because a lot of times they're just not funny. So you don't know till you tell them. But it's fun.
That seems obvious, yet, there's got to be a fear of like, everyone's going to think this is dumb.
It does suck, because you want the jokes to go good, but you also have to realize, like, some of them are so dumb that you're just like, you feel bad. You're like, I know. Why do I think this is funny? I don't know. I don't know why I think this is funny, but I'm just going to try it out. Okay. Because I get so surprised. Like, literally almost all my jokes, I try them out and then people laugh and I'm like, really? Okay. Because you just never know.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see like what makes people laugh, and a lot of times you just don't really know.
How good of a judge is your husband on your act?
He's pretty good. Like if he likes one of my jokes, then I think it has a better chance of making it. Like if he really likes it. And my friend or my cousin Trista, she used to help me out a lot there too.
Okay.
I would have her read it, and if she would like laugh, because she laughs easier than most people, so it was really good for my confidence boost to get her to just read them all and just laugh. And actually, sometimes before I go on stage, I read a joke aloud to myself, and then I go ha 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 ha, and then I tell it. It works. Like it makes me like, okay, yeah. I think hearing laughter and associating it with the joke. Okay, I know I'm crazy, but
that works. If it works, why not?
It works. It kind of
absolutely.
does.
Why not? Are you keeping in? How is the Minnesota scene in California right now?
It's good. I'm trying to convince everyone to move. So it's really fun, and it's cool that we have this club to come back to too. So
yeah,
it's alive and well. I think.
How are the? I'm always curious on how the living conditions are in California.
Yeah.
I know money doesn't go quite as far as it goes here.
Well, no, but we're able to we're paying like $12.75 for a 2-bedroom apartment, 2 bathrooms, a pool, and a parking spot. Yeah, so it's like you can find.
I guess you did find one.
Yeah, so we did. Beer is more expensive, like gas is more expensive, everything is more expensive, and also there aren't like paid gigs like very many. Like some people can get them, but you can't really make a living doing stand-up out there unless you're traveling to do it, which is kind of what I do. Yeah. Well, I just kind of travel and do gigs on the road. But it is weird because you want to try to submerge yourself in it, but you kind of either need to have money saved up or have a day job. Yeah. So it's different. It's a different experience here because I think you can kind of keep afloat by doing more. There's so many clubs around here. Right. And within like driving distance, and it's more cost effective. Maybe
I've asked you before. When's the last time you had a day job?
Walmart. I worked at Walmart.
That was it?
2005. But other than that, I do freelance graphic design. But yeah, and even then I worked third shift. Yeah. So it wasn't even like a typical day job. But I kind of decided early on that I didn't want a day job.
I saw on your site, there's some t-shirts too.
Oh yeah, you can get t-shirts online. I don't print them, but people can go and take a design that I have.
Your designs.
My designs, and then pick any color, any size, any style of shirt, and then put on mugs or bed sheets or whatever. So that's kind of how I do.
Has anyone put it on bed sheets?
No, but people have put them on backpacks and mugs and notebooks and stuff like that on Redbubble.
Redbubble. Nice. Do you ever keep like the write-ups about you, like if you're in the paper?
I've got some newspaper stuff kind of kept together. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. Yeah. It's really cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. I'm glad that you said that you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and on the road too, and on all the cities we were doing interviews a lot. We were doing a lot of radio interviews and newspaper interviews. So we kept those too, and some of them I just asked them to mail them to my mom.
Oh, cool.
So she's getting them. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, I joked before we started recording about Seattle.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
okay, Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, you were right off Kermit and Pio's, and I was like, I could actually talk about Seattle Seahawks because on like the second gig we did, we were in Seattle. Maybe it was the third, but it was early on in the tour. Super early on because it was the beginning of the NFL season. And I'm a huge Vikings fan. Right. Huge Vikings fan. And this was the first year I was going to miss watching the games at home. Like I paid for the NFL package and then I was gone. I was so pissed. I was like, I paid in advance.
That's how big of a fan you are.
You paid for it. I paid for it in advance. Nice. And I'm not even going to be there. And I was like, I can't just not let my husband use it. So I left it so he could still watch Sunday Ticket and watch all the Vikings games from California. But anyways, the Vikings were playing the 49ers on Monday. And
that was real early.
Yes. And then I was doing Seattle because that was the first game. I was doing a show in Seattle on Sunday, the day before. Mm-hmm. And the Seahawks had lost. And I knew that. And I went on stage though, and I was just like, did my set, joking around. I have some football jokes, but then I made a joke like, the Vikings they haven't lost a single game this season. And just because I was talking about how I was a Vikings fan, they were kind of like, they know we're not that great of a team or whatever at the time. We're pretty cool now. But I was like, the Vikings haven't lost a single game. And they were like, boo. just started like rumbling. And then I was like, how did the Seahawks do today? And they just all just started booing, like, boo, boo. And then I just loved it. I was just like, oh my God, you guys, they lost? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, and they were just freaking out, like so mad.
This doesn't sound like you at all.
No, I know. Because I just thought it would be silly. I wasn't like, oh yeah, of course they're going to be super mad. But then it just made me laugh. And then all like the comedians are in the wings and they're laughing and they're like, Andy, no, don't. What are you doing? So then I just told the joke where about how much I love the Seattle Seahawks and talked about like how good their players are. But even that, they're like, we don't even want to hear about it. Like, we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying positive things, we don't want you to talk about them at all.
No.
And then I got off the stage. But I got booed another time too. And I asked a little kid if he wanted to tell jokes. This was in Kentucky. And he was like, cause he'd been at the meet and greet. And I was like, do you want to tell a joke? And he's like, I don't know. And his dad's like, say something. So I held the mic out and he went, go Kentucky. Right? And everyone freaked out because they're like, boo, boo, go Cardinals, boo. Because I didn't know there's this huge rivalry.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what's he talking about? He just loves his state. And you guys love birds. I'm so confused right now. But I was like, I can't believe you're booing this poor kid. And everyone was just booing. And then afterwards, they're like, just don't talk about sports. Just don't even.
That's funny.
Because I don't know. I'm used to a Vikings fan. I'm not used to a whole group of people just booing because you talk about not liking the Vikings. Like, people would be on board with that.
Yeah. Hey, since we're recording this, it's still 2015, but we're not going to, we're going to put this out until, like we talked about, third week of 2016. Yeah. Predict where the Vikings are. People are listening right now, and the Vikings are done playing, on their way to the Super Bowl.
On the way to the Super Bowl, I cleared off. I told people, like, anyone who schedules stuff or any clubs, everything, I'm just like, I can't work that Sunday because that's the Super Bowl, and I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, and it's going to be the Vikings. Like, I mean, I know it's a long shot, but I just feel like this year is going to happen. Something's going to happen. It's just going to work out. So, yeah, I don't know. The Super Bowl, I think, is the 7th
of February.
No, it's the 8th.
Okay.
5th. No, it's the 7th. It's the 7th. And, yeah, I'm planning on that. I've got a party planned.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yep.
So obviously moving to California was a great thing for you. No regrets.
Yeah. Like when I first moved out, like the first few months, I was like, oh God, why did I do this? Like my family's back home. I miss them. Like, this is really hard. Mm-hmm. Like, this is expensive. Like, I was like, I'm just doing shows and open mics. Like, nothing's happening. But then I obviously held it out. But then September, so I'd only been living there for 9 months. And then I got to audition for the show.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. A couple of months later, I got another audition. A couple of months later, I got another. And then I'm on it. So I was like, just move to LA. And within 9 months, your dreams will start coming true.
Exactly.
It worked out really good. I got really lucky.
That's awesome.
Yeah, things aligned.
Was being on TV on Last Comic, was that your first national TV thing?
Yeah, first national TV thing. And and it was cool because I would have been happy. And everyone who's done it, they're happy with just being in the first round, being shown.
Yeah.
And they're happy with making it to the next round. And every single round is so good for your career. It's just getting exposure on that level and just having that credit. So, and like, I really didn't care if I won or not. Like, obviously I wanted to, but I was just like, part of me would just rather just lay low, get in the top 5 and be able to focus on.
I can tell you, it doesn't, obviously you know this. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who won. I was talking to my wife the other day and I was convinced that, I knew you didn't win. Mm-hmm. I thought that, and I couldn't remember his last name. I was like, no, it was that Michael
Palaszczuk.
I was like, he won.
That's so funny.
And then she goes, no, I think it was the black guy.
Yeah.
I go, no.
Isn't that funny?
I go, maybe it was. I had to look online. I couldn't remember. But I watched every episode.
And then in all the shows we'd went to too, people would ask us who won.
Yeah.
Because even if they saw it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, to them, it's not necessarily as important. And this year, it was a shorter season, so there was less time to root for one person and really hope that they made it because it happened so fast. Yeah. So to the audience, it doesn't necessarily matter that much. It does matter to the comedians because winning is a far cry from, I guess, the top 5. Like he got $250,000, this development deal. He's booked through like 2017. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's definitely different. But like Ian Bagg and Dominique, they're already booked through this year, and they're all like they're just gonna get paid more.
Yeah.
And like now they have all these new fans, and that's what's important too.
Yeah.
Just new fans and new exposure, and that's what they talked about too. And like, now it's like I can do more clubs, and I have a manager and an agent. So it's like that's everything I wanted. So now it's like your dreams come true. Then you're like, oh yeah, I'm done. Like you still,
Right,
I made it on
right.
TV. But at one point, I was like, man, if I can just MC at Acme, that's all I ever want in comedy.
Yeah.
All I ever want in life. That's all I wanted. And then I happened. And then like,
We
oh,
celebrate that here when people
Yeah.
make it to MC.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's amazing. And then you just keep thinking like there's just more and more and more. So it's fun being in comedy because it is like a video game. There's always new levels you can reach, and you really can work hard to make things happen. And I mean, you have to sacrifice a lot too. Like it's hard. It's not easy. But I think it's worth it.
Did you spend enough time with Dominique to find out if she has a last name?
She does.
She does.
Oh yeah, I know a lot about her. Me and her we hung out a ton. She's my bunkmate, and she's joined our bowling league. Me and Michael and Dominique are on a bowling league.
Really?
And
That's awesome.
Clayton still lives in Atlanta, but like Ian invited us over for Christmas, and we're all like pretty close. I mean, we lived on a bus together, so we're all pretty close. And Dominique was like, "Yeah, let's go to a game together," and we're making plans. So it was awesome.
You didn't go out and get drunk and get matching tattoos or
No.
anything like that.
I tried to get matching tattoos, but no, I had a lot of fun. I decorated the bus.
Of course.
Yeah, I made music videos. If you go on Instagram, I have a bunch of the fun that we did.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like a comedy tour, like a comedy festival, but just for 3 months.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was.
Yeah. That's awesome. I have one more thing I want to talk to you
Okay,
about
cool.
here. This is from you've heard of newspapers, right? This is from a newspaper.
I think I have the newspaper app.
Oh, yeah. No, this is
that
like
the
a
app?
real thing. Yeah. And I've been sitting on this one for a while, and you are the perfect person.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to change the names here. This is a letter to Dear Addie.
Okay.
All right?
Dear Addie.
Addie, with D's, yep. I'm just going to read what she got here. And you're going to play the role of Dear Addie.
Okay.
All right? My calico cat Rosie. See, you like it already. That's
Yeah.
good. My calico cat Rosie seems to be fixated on my next door neighbor, Ron. Every morning, Rosie grooms herself for an hour, then jumps in the window to watch for Ron to go for his morning run. She sits there until Ron comes out of his house. He exercises a lot and has kept himself in shape, while I admit I have let myself go. As soon as she sees him, Rosie starts purring. I have to say that I resent this. I provide her with room and board, and I brush her regularly, but while I'm doing it, she watches the window intently and then bolts to look out the post to see if Ron is appearing. I bought new window treatments, which she scratched her way through, damaging the blinds and shades. Yeah, right? Filling her food dish strategically before Ron goes out doesn't deter her either. I love my cat, but I feel she is being unfaithful. What should I do? And by the way, this is signed by a guy wrote this in.
Okay.
It says, P.S. I'm happily married. My wife thinks I'm crazy, and Rosie has been fixed. He added that.
That's so crazy.
Okay, Addie, what's your
Okay.
advice for Ron here, whatever his name was?
Well, first of all,
Ron's the neighbor.
is Ron the neighbor cat? That's really the only thing that makes sense. The cat comes home, works out. I get why Rosie would want to look. Did you change the name of the cat too?
No.
Oh, what? That's not fair. The
Oh,
cat
no.
needs some anonymity.
Oh, no, I mean,
No.
I mean, princess.
You're gonna.
Princess.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, never mind. I was like, I didn't know girl cats could get fixed. Oh, yeah, they can.
Oh, yeah. We have one, and
Yeah.
we did. Yes.
Well, okay. I think you need to let the cat have more friends. It's not fair that the cat can't have more friends. Maybe you should get another cat. Also, don't give your cat to my mom because my mom gave her cat away to the pizza delivery guy.
For payment or
I think so.
trade, barter?
I've teased her about it because it was her office cat, and the pizza delivery guy came in and was just like, "Oh, what a cute cat!" And Mom's like, "Oh, like, are you looking for a cat?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I would love a cat." And my mom gave it to him.
That's not how that works.
I know. I was so mad, but she'd been wanting to get rid of it for a while because I don't know if you know this, but the cat was so cute it lowered productivity at the office. Everyone was playing with it. It was knocking stuff over. It was so dang cute that they got rid of it. So I guess Rosie or Princess just needs to be happy that their parents don't just give it away to Ron. So I think Rosie's good. That to have a jealous dad is good.
Yeah.
Because you want someone who loves them, and also you want someone who knows that they're calico instead of a different color, because that shows something.
Yeah.
Because normally it doesn't really matter what their fur is. People just love their cats, but this person knows the name of the fur.
Yeah. I just found out that we have a tortoise.
What?
Yeah, designed
You
cat.
didn't? Oh, I thought you were going to say just found out we had a turtle.
No.
And I'm like, oh, you didn't know you had a turtle.
Yeah. No, that's another name, like calico tortoise
Okay.
something. Yeah. I never knew that. We have a cat now.
I know. I make fun of my husband because he just talks about how my cat just looks like a regular cat. He's like, I couldn't pick the cat up out in a lineup. And I was like, why is our cat a criminal? Like, I was like, she's just a normal looking cat.
Have you seen there's a website, or I'm sure it still exists.
Yeah.
Cats that look like Hitler.
Yeah, that's so great.
That's what I...
Have you seen a website where all you do is rate pictures of cats? People submit cats and it's just like Hot or Not, but for cats. I love that website. You want to know what's great? It's to go to the ugliest cats and just look at them and just laugh. It's so funny. It's so funny. And the cute cat it's a bucket of fun.
Yeah.
I think I have a link to it on my website.
Love it.
One of my ads is the cat website. I mean, they don't advertise, but I advertise for them not for free.
Just for good vibes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a ton of cat fans and cat friends.
Yeah.
And people come up to me, like when I was at the state fair this summer, someone came up to me and just went, meow, 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 meow. And I'm like, are you okay? I'm like, oh, right.
But in fairness, that was like while the show was still on.
Yeah,
right?
while the show was still on.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But I've had people come up to me and just say, like, you're the cat lady. Like when we were at the bar the other day for the watching the Vikings game, a woman came up to me and was like, you're the cat lady. I love cats. Like cat people connect to other cat people.
Mm-hmm.
They just love, like, cat people are the best.
But you're like, can we come up with a different term besides
yeah,
cat lady?
I'm not a cat lady. I'm a kitten woman.
Kitten woman.
I like
Meow, meow.
meow, meow.
Andy, is there anything else we should be mentioning? Anything coming up or anything you want to promote? Well, obviously, your album is available on iTunes and everywhere.
Yep.
Your website, you can find it?
Yep.
Yep.
Album, Twitter. I have a blog where I rate images of unicorns called unicornratings.tumblr.com.
Love it.
You can even go to just unicornratings.com. I'm not sure if it directs there. I rate unicorns.
Because someone has to.
Yeah, I love it. There's some really good images out there. Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, be my friend. Come out to, Sai's in town this week. Come out and see Sai. I know. Come out and bring stuffed animals and sit in the front row and tell him that you love cats, and bring Sai, I don't know. What does Sai like to like eat or drink? He doesn't take candy from strangers, so don't bring him candy.
Oh.
Actually, try to give him candy and see if he'll take it. And if he does, let me know, because he told me he doesn't take candy from strangers.
Okay.
He won't take candy from me. Sometimes he will, but sometimes he'll wait and see if someone else eats it first. Anyways, go watch Sai. And support comedy, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Comedy everywhere.
Absolutely.
And be nice to everyone, and be follow your dreams.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, and I definitely encourage people, if you're not already, follow Andy on Twitter. She's very funny and gives jokes out for free.
Yeah, free jokes.
Yeah. Andy, this has been good.
Yeah, how much time did we do?
I don't know.
I feel like we went over.
No.
Oh, good.
Leave this in. Have her question why we... No, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Continued success, my friend. And now it's officially...